to come on and talk about this whole Kanye West situation again. To my understanding, he was recently put on a 24-hour suspension from Instagram. I believe Instagram. I'm not sure what his page is like on Twitter, or if he even has one. I really don't follow him, to be really honest. Um, and the only reason that I was even touching on this topic is because we've seen this type of behavior from him before, and no one seems, it just seems like there's no protection around him, right? And I know he's a grown man, and people feel like, well, he's a grown man and he should be able to take care of himself. But we understand in some of these situations, it's not always that way. Um, However, just in the fact that this story keeps growing, because I know Trevor Noah is now involved in the conversation as well. And I just learned some things about him, which I'm not super familiar with him anyway. But it sounds as if his mother was involved in some domestic violence situations when he was a child. And so for him, it's probably triggering. It's not necessarily triggering to me, um, but like I said, and I'll say it again, you can see how that can really turn into a really ugly situation. And I'm not just speaking, and I was never, let me say that as well, I was never speaking from a level of me trying to protect Kim Kardashian. Even though, I would not want to see anything happen to anyone, I wasn't speaking just from that angle. I was speaking from the angle of, if people really care about Kanye, then I feel like they should step up and say, as men, you know, Kanye, there's a better way to handle what you're going through. Because a lot of these guys have already been through that anyway. A lot of them have children that I'm sure that he's friends with. They have children with multiple women, or with some women they were married to, and they're no longer married to that woman. This woman now has all this money, which Kim, I guess, had money even before she married him. But these women, some of these women are getting this money from these men, and now they're living a certain life to where now they have all this time on their hand, sit around and get involved with all these different people. And it is concerning of who is going to be around your children, who's next in line per se, that's in the household with your kids, and they're in the household more so than you are, and you're their father. So I do understand from that perspective Kanye's concern, but that's something that he should have thought about, and all we all should think about when we're deciding to procreate with people. So that's a cautionary tale in that way. It's something you really should consider when you are laying down making these children with people, because if that relationship do not work out, if that marriage do not work out, these people are going to have other people around your children. And so that's a real concern. And I get it from that perspective after hearing some of this stuff, which I don't know anything about Pete Davidson. I heard his name, and I know he's dated some other people, some other women that are high profile names. I don't really know if he is, like I said, I don't know him. To my understanding, he's from SNL. I guess he's classified as a comedian. I don't know him like that. But from what I'm hearing, there are some nasty jokes that he put out here, that I should say disturbing jokes about children. And so maybe this is where Kanye's concern is coming from, or some of it. Or maybe he's just using it. I want to say that as well. Maybe he's just using that as a way to kind of hit at Kim. We don't know. And that's kind of the point. At the end of the day, as a father, as a man, if you have concerns, there are real ways to voice those concerns, to put those concerns out there as a father. Look, I better not hear nothing ever coming from none of my kids about nothing. Point blank and period. You don't have to put that in the media. You can tell that directly to oh boy. Okay? That's it and that's all. He doesn't owe that man any type of respect in that way. I better not hear nothing coming from my kids about nothing. And I feel like he has a right to say that, but he can say that directly to him. You cannot plan out this lady's life. You can't tell her who she's going to date, who she's not going to date. She may get involved with a lot of sketchy people. for all we can really sit here and say, and they may not appear sketchy to her. You know, some people have said that about people she dated in the past anyway. Okay, even Kanye. So let's just put that out there as well. So you can't control who she's going to get involved with. Can't control who the sisters are going to get involved with. All the people that she's around all the time. You can't control the people that they're going to bring into these children's life, and that's why you have to concern yourself about these things when you're making those decisions. That's not about race. That's not about anything because it really doesn't matter. Um, that's it, and that's all. But for him to set out and to do all this stuff to make himself look a certain way is where I'm talking about the problem is, because people don't know anything. Like some of us don't know anything about Pete Davidson. Like so another YouTuber just brought up those jokes that he made about the baby, which is disturbing. I agree with them. That's a that's disturbing to hear someone saying that, and now you're dating some woman who has multiple children, very young children on top of that. So I get it. I get the concern. But it's a better way for Kanye to handle that. You know, that's just what I think. Um, and then there were some comments about black women, and the YouTuber was bringing up, excuse me, child. I have some other videos I'm about to put up as well. Um, I've been talking too much. Was bringing up the fact that he said some things about black women as well. And like the YouTuber said, even though her children are biracial, they're not being raised in the black community, okay? So we're not gonna try to make it like they're black and oh, he thinks that these kids are black. He don't. He don't think that her kids are black. Even though they are biracial, it still can be viewed as concerning that he would say some things about black women, and now you're dating this woman with the half black children. And so I guess maybe that's where Kanye is coming from when he said my black kids. Um, they're biracial. They're not. They're being raised in a different culture. They're being raised by this woman who's not black. She's not a black woman. They may grow up feeling a certain way towards black people themselves, just based on some of that stuff, that's going on around them. So I don't know. I don't know that I necessarily have concern about that, but I get what people are saying. If he's made some racially charged statements about black women, it's you can see where Kanye will have this concern, but Kanye is going to have that concern because that lady's going to continue to date, even if she break up with him next week. She's going to continue to date people, and who's to say who she's going to end up with next? It is what it is, and you just keep the communication open between you and your children, where if anything happens, they will always feel comfortable to come to you and let you know that certain things are happening. But you can't, unfortunately, you're no longer married to her, so you cannot protect them 24/7 the way you may feel. That's just where you are in this relationship. And I don't know anything about Pete Davidson. I'm not accusing him of anything. So this is all what's out here. He made the jokes, so they're out here. I'm not saying allegedly because he put this stuff out here himself. Y'all can get mad. You can say whatever you want to say. I said what I said. I'm not saying allegedly because he said these things. You can go look him up. Some of the main blogs are already talking about it, and some people here on YouTube are also talking about it. So it kind of sheds a different light on Kanye's concerns. But like I said, putting yourself in a position where you can get taken out of your kid's life is not helping you. It's not helping that situation. You want to handle whatever it is you're trying to do with that in a more rational way. And this is where I'm saying that these guys that are calling themselves sane or sound mind and they're calling themselves Kanye friend was when they should step in and say, look, Kanye, let's find some better ways to just put it to old boy that we're not playing with him about your kids. Okay, if he's trying to say that's what his real concern is, because for some people it feel like that he's just trying to get his wife back, and whatever he's trying to do is just a better way to handle yourself because people are looking at the stuff that he's doing, and the stuff is being recorded. Okay, you can delete whatever you want to delete. Like I said in the last video, the stuff is still out here, so it don't go away because you just want it to go away. Um, Let me know what you guys think about all of this in the comments. How do you feel about the jokes? I'm not going to put him, obviously I went live, so I don't have the footage to put it there. But some people here on YouTube, they do have the videos and the joke that Pete Davidson made about the baby. And then I guess he said some things on the Breakfast Club. And then the YouTuber was saying, he didn't understand why Charlamagne didn't defend black women because they were pushing that whole thing anyway. Like, it's black men out here that are pushing that. They're pushing that whole agenda of disrespect towards black women themselves. And Charlamagne and a few other people, they've been a part of that. So yeah, I think that Angela Yee kind of spoke up and said, "What does that mean?" or something. I didn't see that interview. I don't know. I'm not surprised that Charlamagne didn't speak up for black women, and I don't know why anybody else would be. um, but I digress. Let me know what you guys think about all of this. Do you think that now, are you now thinking that Kanye may have a point, or do you think that he just only cares about this because he just wants to mess with Kim's relationship with this person? To my understanding, Pete Davidson do not have anything on his record, child abuse or touching a child or anything like that. No one's saying that. But what I'm saying is that is disturbing if people are thinking, have the mindset to think, because stuff like that, that's not funny to me. And you have to wonder about the mind of people who are attracted to children. And there are people out here who are attracted to children. We all understand that. That's why it's a whole ped ring going in this country as it is. So it is disturbing and it is something concerning, I would imagine, as a parent, that you would be concerned about her wanting to date someone who would say some things like that. Now, I'm not accusing him of anything, like I said, let me say it again. But you can see where people could have concern about people making jokes like that. Because there is, like I said, a whole ring of stuff going on out here where people seem to think stuff like that is okay to say and do. Um, Let me know what you guys think. Like I said, this situation is already getting blown out of proportion. And like I said before, you could see how the train wreck was going to could manifest. Um, it's just a better way for Kanye to handle that. It's a better way to get your point across that you're not having no BS when it comes to your kids, not only to him, but to her as well, because she needs to be careful who she's getting involved with and if she's going to have these people around her children. And yeah, he has a right to say that as a parent. And I don't care who don't like what I say. Just because people are pushing kids in the world do not mean that they're fit parents. I don't care if you think I'm saying something against her. I'm not. I don't know what her mindset is. I don't know her. I'm just saying that we have seen these things happen where people are trusting people that they probably should not. And just because people have money, everything that glitters does not gold. Just because people have money do not mean that they're perfect people. Do not mean they're angelic. Do not mean that they're not capable of doing dirty and nasty and sick things. Okay, so we're not gonna play that game over here. You can play it wherever you are. Let me know what you guys think about this story in the comments. Do you think that this now sheds a different light on what Kanye is trying to say? I still stand by what I said. I think that if people are really calling themselves his guy's friends, they would tell him to get out of off of social media with all that nonsense. It's a way to handle whatever it is that you're trying to do. If you're trying to protect your children, it's a way to handle them. It's the way to handle protecting them without building all of this stuff up against yourself that people can use against you. Um, I think threatening people is not helping the situation in the ways in which he's doing it. As a parent, has a right to say whatever it is that he needs to say directly to that person and let it stand. Even to Kim, he has a right to say what he has to say as far as concerning himself about the protection of his children. But getting into on social media, doing things where people don't understand why you're doing it, or people trying to put pieces to a puzzle together, and that's not the way to handle that. And nobody's perfect. None of us are perfect. I'm not saying that he has to be. I'm just saying I'm sure that there are sound mind men who are looking at this situation going, okay, let me step in and say something to this guy. Let me step in and say, this is not the way to handle that. This is the way to handle it. Or, you know, people have your back. You just need to say what you need to say, and that's it. Leave the rest of that stuff alone. Getting involved in who she's involved with and all that, you can't control that. He has no control over that. He never will. You know, he never will have control over that. So just like he didn't have control over her leaving him. You guys get what I'm saying? Like, you don't have any control over how somebody is going to feel about who they want to get involved with and why they even feel like they want to get involved with that person in the first place. So that's not something that he can control. So he needs to drop that part of it. He has a right to speak up for his kids. I got it. I see the point in what some people are trying to make. Um, but you could still see how people on the outside looking in, how they could take some of that stuff that Kanye is putting out here. And it's not okay. It's not okay to sit online and bully people. And especially since Pete hasn't really given him anything yet to act the way he's acting based on for him to act that way about um, I can understand him being uncomfortable when her dating him. I agree now that I'm hearing that part of it. And as a black woman, it is what it is. His kids do not have a black mother. You know, she's gonna date whoever she wants to date, and if they don't like black people, they just don't. She's not black. So that's gonna hit different with her than it hits with black people. So people shouldn't expect her to feel a certain way about him, because I'm sure Kanye has said things about black women as well. So that's not gonna hit the same for her. Okay? So you guys people need to start wrapping their mind around reality. Her children are biracial, they are not black. So it's a different tone and it's a different story. I know. I get what Morelli Murad is the one who was saying, and I get what he's trying to say. And he has the video over there on his channel if you guys want to go over there and hear the snippets of what Pete Davidson had to say about black women and about, something about a baby or something. Um, but, you know, yeah, these people are not, she's not black. She does not have a emotional attachment to what we go through as black women. No matter how much number seven foundation she put on, how many cornrows she throw up in her hair, it's not the same, okay? So I need people to wrap their mind around the reality of that. She may not see anything wrong with what he said on the Breakfast Club. And I'm sure she's probably aware that he said it. Like I said, Kanye has probably said things about black people and black women as well that she probably anybody should take offense to, but I'm sure she didn't. So you should not expect her to get that. Let me know what you guys think about this story in the comments as far as what Morale had to say, because he says that he sees concerns with what Kanye is trying to do. But I just think it's a way to do it. And I think that these men who claim that they're this guy's friend, their parents themselves, they should step in and say something to him. It's a way to handle people, it's a way to handle situations, it's a way to get your message across without harassing people on social media. Because even if that break them up, she's just going to move on to the next person, okay? And who's to say who that person is going to be, right? We can't dictate, okay? That's my point. Let me know what you guys think of all of this in the comments. The Trevor Noah situation as well, because to my understanding, that's why Kanye was suspended, because he made some racial slurs against Trevor Noah. I mean, whatever Kanye is trying to say about Trevor, people have said about him. So that part I don't really get, but I think for Trevor's coming from the place of personal experience, right? Of seeing someone get harmed by a man and people not looking at the warning signs and taking that for what it is. And that was my point as well. It's not funny to sit and laugh at somebody lashing out like that, because who's to say if Kanye was serious or not about that video? And it's just not okay. We living in a time where we're seeing all this domestic violence, all these crazy, hearing all these crazy stories. about people harming their wives, harming their children, harming the whole family, then harming themselves as well. I mean, these stories are plentiful out here. We're hearing them almost every other day, almost. You know, they're all over the place. And then race has nothing to do with it. It's black on black, black on white, white and black, white and whatever, Asian, you know, name it. It's all involved. And so this is all a people issue. Has nothing to do with race or trying to paint Kanye just a certain way. Um, we should not feel that it's okay for people to sit and do these things. You know, it's not okay. It's just like the whole drill music thing. All this stuff is not okay to sit and promote death. You know, it's not. And also, I still feel the same way about that. I just feel like if he has a honest concern about her bringing somebody around his kids, it's a better way to handle that conversation. And that should be a private family conversation. You know, he has a right to speak up where his children are concerned. You know, when she's bringing certain people around her children, he has a right to voice that concern. I'm not taking that from him, but it's a way to handle things. Let me know what you guys think in the comments about all of it. Like I said, the Trevor Noah coming into the conversation as well. And like I said, he's triggered because there are stories out here where the breakdown about his mother and father is there. So he's triggered by seeing certain behavior, and it's understandable. Um, that's why he's saying what he's saying. I think that people don't get why Kanye is saying the things because Kanye didn't come right out and say why he just lashed out at this guy, and he may have honest concerns, but it's like I said, it's still a way to handle those things. And then you could get people behind you who are better at handling certain things like that to address those conversations as well. Um, Let me know what you guys think in the comments about all of it. And I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.